In the U.S., Manifest Destiny had just come to a close with the Compromise of 1850, and a new, aspiring state was being developed. This will come to be known as California. 2 years before this compromise, a storm was about to happen in the California territory.
Before California was recognized as a state, it was part of Mexico. This all changed on February 2, 1848, after the U.S.-Mexican War ended. Mexico ceded a vast amount of land to the U.S., including today's California. 1 month before this, one lucky carpenter was about to strike gold that would cause an ensuing rumble in California for the months and years to come. This man was known as James W. Marshall.
Marshall was a middle-class worker who had never attended college. Marshall was destined to live a middle-class life until he found gold on January 24, 1948. The young carpenter found gold flakes in the tail race of Sutter's Mill in Paloma near the Sacramento River. After working with Sutter, the owner of the mill, to determine the validity of the gold, the two tried their best to keep their discovery a secret. Something amazing had happened. Gold was found in California.
The move to keep this discovery a secret would prove to be futile. In the months to follow, word would spread about gold in California. This was mainly thanks to one man named Sam Brannan. Brannan worked for a San Francisco newspaper company and quickly spread the word about gold. But first, he made a strategic play. Brannan stocked up on mining equipment. Brannan proved to be one of the most influential figures during the gold rush.
In Brannan's early life, he moved to Ohio with his sister and his cousin. While in Ohio, Brannan encountered Mormonism. Very quickly, his sister and brother-in-law converted to this new religion. On February 4, 1846, Brannan sailed with 238 other Mormons from New York City to the Mexican territory of California, where they hoped to build a religious safe haven for Mormons.
As the Mormons arrived in the San Francisco Bay, they quickly learned the U.S. was already in control due to the U.S.-Mexican War ending in the U.S.'s favor, but Brannan chose to stay anyway because the 6-month trip back was not worth it.
Brannan was an ambitious leader who constructed flour mills
and printed the California Star, the first California newspaper.
A few months later in 1847, a rumor got out about gold. Brannan went to investigate it himself, and after learning there was actually gold, Brannan took some himself, packed his stuff, and opened up a second store. After returning to San Francisco, Brannan got off the boat and shouted,
"Gold! Gold! Gold! Gold from the American River!"
By June, around 3/4 of the San Francisco male population was gone for the gold mines. Brannan didn't dig for gold himself. Instead, his stores made a vast amount of money by selling goods that miners would need. Brannan was selling around $150,000 a month in today's currency. Brannan quickly became the first millionaire of California.
Although this high would not last, Brannan's more reckless personality traits would burst forth, such as gambling, womanizing, drinking, and fighting. Brannan was able to maintain his wealth for another 10 years into the 1860s, until it all came crashing down with a brutal divorce.
Anne Brannan came with Sam Brannan in 1846. She was a lady with dirty blonde hair and blue eyes. Her marriage with Sam Brannan lasted until 1870, when they got divorced due to Sam Brannan's drinking and woman problems. Sam Brannan had to terminate most of his real estate holdings due to the divorce settlements. This was the end of the Brannan Empire.
Shortly after, his net worth severely dropped. He spent the rest of his working years selling pencils, which failed. Brannan died on a small farm in 1889 and left his children only a few dollars. One newspaper reporter described him as old, gray, broken in strength, able only to get out with the aid of a cane. The old keenness of the eye alone shows that his spirit has survived the decay of his body.
Samuel Brannan, the richest man at one time in California, an ambitious entrepreneur who was at the top of the world at one point. He had a long-lasting impact on California during the gold rush. herding people to the land and distributing equipment. At the end of the day, maybe all good things come crashing down.